AMD stock was up nearly 13% today, and after hours, the stock is up roughly 3.6%. Yesterday, we got some amazing news from Microsoft and AMD, and I want to say today we got even bigger news from Meta as they just reported earnings. Let's take a closer look in today's episode.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video, and check out fool.com/Jose for the 10 best stocks to buy now. With that link, you get a promotional offer for their subscription service. Now, let's continue with today's episode.
All right, so we can see Nvidia is now sitting at $117, up roughly 12.8% for the day. After hours, the stock is up roughly $4 and sitting at $121. So congratulations to any bulls out there, to anybody that purchased the stock. If you've been watching this channel, you guys know how bullish we are in this company and how there was really no reason to be worried about this sell-off. Now, the first thing I want to take a closer look at Nvidia is we did get multiple bullish points yesterday. Yesterday I did the episode of what AMD and Microsoft said about the overall GPU and AI market. This morning, we did get that Morgan Stanley ended up reshifting their top AI pick to Nvidia again after the sell-off that we saw. So Morgan Stanley was very bullish on Nvidia, saying that the sell-off is kind of unwarranted based on the growth potential for this company. So that was kind of the first bullish point for Nvidia earlier today, outside of the earnings that we mentioned. The second thing is Meta Platforms just reported earnings after hours and they killed it, right? They were up 2.5% for the day. After hours, the stock is up over 7%. And as we know, Meta is a huge customer of Nvidia's AI chips, and they did have a lot of things to say about AI. So when we look at AI, I actually want to first start with the important things, and that's capital expenditure, right? They mentioned that turning now to when they were talking about their CapEx outlook, that they anticipate their full year 2024 capital expenditure will be in the range of $37 to $40 billion. And this was updated on the lower end, right? Prior range was between 35 to 40. Now they're saying 37 to 40. So obviously this is bullish because they're going to be most likely buying a lot more AI chips from Nvidia. The other great thing is while they continue to refine their plans for next year, currently they expect significant CapEx growth in 2025 as they continue to invest, support their AI research and their product development efforts. So overall, very bullish here for Nvidia because it kind of eliminates that big fear that we keep hearing from other commentaries, other kind of media outlets out there that this demand for AI chips is going to die pretty quickly. But we can see from Meta Platforms that that's not the case. They grew dramatically this year versus last year, and they expect to grow again in 2025. So overall, Meta Platforms did a great service for Nvidia, in my opinion. So Nvidia investors yesterday had a lot to thank for AMD and Microsoft, and today we should be thanking overall Meta Platform investments. So there was a few things that came out from their earnings and that I believe help understand a little bit about the AI market. But first, they kind of mentioned that, hey, look, they're training Llama. Llama is their large language model. So they trained Llama 3, and that is out to the public right now. And they mentioned that they're already working on training Llama 4, and the compute needed to train Llama 4 will likely be almost 10 times more than what they used to train Llama 3. For those that are not familiar, for Llama 3, they used, I believe, a 16,000 cluster of H100s. So in theory, for something like Llama 4, you're going to need 160,000 H100s to be able to train that. And Mark Zuckerberg has mentioned other things. He doesn't obviously know where the trend of multiple generations is going to go in the future, like what kind of compute do you need for Llama 5? What kind of compute do you need for Llama 6? But at this point, he'd rather risk building capacity before it is needed rather than too late, given the long lead times for spinning up new infrastructure project. And as they scale these investments, they're of course going to focus to remain committed to operational efficiency across the company. So this is very similar to what we've heard from all these other big tech players that, hey, look, right now, all these big tech players do know that AI is a revolutionary product. It's a revolutionary technology that is helping shift a lot of their products. Meta obviously is helping kind of grow their advertisement business. It can help with multiple other businesses out there, like retention rate on their platforms, like more business solutions as well. for their overall customers. But the overall theory that we're hearing from all these big tech players is that it is important to have our infrastructure built out, because if we skip a beat, it could be bad for the overall business. And this is why I believe I've said, I don't know if I said it in one of my videos, but I know in a podcast that I was in lately, I mentioned that if any big tech has a hiccup and slows down in capital expenditure, I believe that's going to be one of their worst mistakes, because the process of AI and the technology of AI is evolving so quickly. Throughout the earnings call, and I'll probably do a meta earnings call later if you guys want me to do that. If you do want me to do that, let me know in the comments below. But Meta kind of showcased where they're using AI in various of their solutions, how they're using it for their business platform, how they're using it for their content creators, how they're using it for their consumers, how they're using it for their advertisement, and the list goes on and on. So Meta Platforms actually painted a great picture of what are some of the AI solutions that can come out with all this AI investment, and how it's still in early innings and it can continue to grow from here. So I think, again, Meta and Mark Zuckerberg, in my opinion, it's one of the greats at the moment in forms of top CEOs, in kind of making this huge technological shift to GPUs and to AI very quickly. And I think it's going to definitely pay off for Meta investors. And again, this is very good news for Nvidia. Some other companies that reported earnings today were Qualcomm. Qualcomm is down, actually ARM, let's start with ARM. ARM is down roughly 10% after reporting earnings, and Qualcomm is down about 1-2% after reporting earnings. So if you guys want me to do a video on any of these, let me know on the comments below. Also, if I don't do a video, but if you want to learn my thoughts on some of these semiconductor companies, both ARM and Qualcomm are obviously going to be updated to my earnings ebook. I do have 2 ebooks, and right now, if you purchase both of them, you get $20 off. The first is a kind of encyclopedia of the semiconductor public companies out there. The second is an earnings insight for this upcoming quarter. The great thing is both are living documents. So even if you purchase now, as I update the book with new earnings or either new companies, you will get the updated version sent to your email. But right now I have a great offer if you do purchase the books at the same time. And obviously that offer won't last forever. So now some other news that are overall impacting NVIDIA, or NVIDIA investors should know. NVIDIA is expected to deliver Blackwell engineering samples later this week, and chips are on track for a fourth quarter launch. So this is great news. Obviously, it's going to be a revolutionary product, but with any product, right, in any type of industry, especially something as big as this, you always want to make sure schedules are going good. There's no issues with supply chain. So engineering samples are great. Customers get to see, kind of test things out and really see, hey, maybe I should order a lot more chips than that. Now, one thing, if you are familiar with the Blackwell, is a high-powered device, and because it is high-powered, you do need liquid cooling. TrendForce just released a kind of research showcasing that liquid cooling penetration is expected to reach roughly 10% by late 2024, thanks to Blackwell and NVIDIA products. And they identify 5 major components in the current liquid cooling supply for GB200 racks. So if you are an investor, you might know some of the companies that might provide some of these components. One is cold plates, second is coolant distribution units, third is manifolds, fourth is quick disconnects, and fifth is rear door heat exchangers. So this is what TrendForce believes are some of the best components that can obviously benefit with things like the GB200. So if you know any companies that might produce or work in some of these industries, let us know in the comments below. Now, the great thing is kind of talking about GPU cooling. Morgan Stanley kind of gave us some stocks that are benefit from the GPU cooling. We can see this article here from CNBC. They named 3 stocks that can benefit from this space. These are not ones I'm familiar with. Vertiv, VRT. Vertiv is the only one I'm familiar with because it is actually covered on my earnings book. I actually have updated that one. They did report earnings last week, and it is already in the ebook. So again, make sure to check out that ebook. The second one they talked about is Schneider Electronics. This one is an international company. And the third is also an international company, Delta Electronics. Delta Electronics is their favorite, I believe, for Morgan Stanley here. But I mentioned these are the 3 names out right now. Now, 2 other articles that I want to take a closer look at is first, if you are in the memory business, Samsung seems to be approved for HBM3 for NVIDIA AI chips, but it seems that they're still having issues with HBM3E, and that can take around 2 to 4 months before getting approval. The other thing that I found pretty interesting is Apple trained its Apple Intelligence model on Google TPUs and not NVIDIA GPUs. I want to say this is probably one of the first times that we've really seen someone outside of Google train on a kind of ASIC solution. It's pretty interesting. Something to keep in mind now. Definitely could be seen as a bearish sign, and we should start to keep a closer eye on if we start to see more of things like this. So interesting at the moment right now. Not worried, but definitely something to note. So a lot of things we covered today. Obviously, Meta was a killer. Like I mentioned, if you guys want me to do an episode on ARM or Qualcomm or Meta platform earnings, let me know in the comments below. The final thing is Supermicro in the $700. Obviously, I'm very more excited about Nvidia and AMD at these price points. But you guys know how normally I wouldn't say trash on Supermicro, but trash on its valuation. I think in the $700, based on what we know about the AI server market, these prices are looking pretty interesting. I don't know if I would purchase, but it's definitely, I don't want to, I want to say, based on the growth that we're seeing in this industry, Supermicro at these levels, not at those 1,000 levels that we had a few months ago, at these levels in the 700s looks pretty interesting. And I've said that in many other episodes that Supermicro in the 700s, 600s looks really great. Luckily, I said that when the stock was much higher because we hit those levels at these points. So if anybody picked up, congratulations. I think these will do great in the long term. Good luck, have a good day, and see you all next time.